For chapter 2, we talk about debit, credit, 借方,贷方, right? So what is debit? Left. What's credit? Right. That's the only one meaning, okay? Then why we put the number into debit, left, credit, right? Because we want to reduce your mistakes. What's that? When we have a number increase, decrease, plus, negative on the same column, sometimes you will make a mistake. So our purpose is we don't want to have plus, negative. We don't want to have increase, decrease. That's why we put the number into your left side or right side, okay? So what's our rules? It's quite important. Our rules on your slide, page 17, remember? That's your debit, credit rules, 借方,贷方规则. It's very important. If you don't remember the rules, you don't know how to record every transactions using accounting way. So please, after you understand the rules, memorize it, okay? So for any assets increase positive on your debit side, left side, decrease on your credit side, right side, right? Liabilities, equities, they are on the opposite side with your assets. So did you find out the number increase, decrease on the opposite side? Okay? So how about your equity? Equity, we have, for example, retained earnings. How to get retained earnings? Revenue minus expenses minus dividends. So did you find out revenue should have same side as your retained earnings? But for your expenses, dividends, minus means what? They have negative relationship. So you will find out we put the numbers increase, decrease on opposite side. Okay? So based on this, that's the very important rule we should have. Debit, credit. Also, we've mentioned when we have the number on final number on debit side, we call it debit balance. So what does it mean, debit balance? 借方余额 means you will find out the final number on debit side, your left. When you find out the final number on your right side, we call it credit balance. What does that mean? Final number balance on credit side. Okay? So that's what we've mentioned from last week. Debit, credit, debit balance, credit balance. Okay? Any questions? Based on this, I hope you finish the note from last week. Although we don't have enough time to check everyone's work in class, but I hope you finish it. So it's on your note. On your note, page 8, chapter 2. For your note on chapter 2, page 8. Page 8. So did you find out? Chapter 1, analyze transactions. After we find out our cash increase, share capital increase. Right now in chapter 2, we are going to write down the transactions. How to write down the transaction using accounting way. That's why we should know is debit side or credit side. It's on your left or right? So transaction 1, cash increase on debit. Equity, share capital increase on credit. Okay? you could double check your slide on page 17 here. So when I talk about debit credit, you could double check this one to make sure, okay, it's correct. Then practice it with me, okay? So transaction 2, equipment asset increase on debit, right? Liability notes payable increase on credit, right? Okay. Transaction 3, cash asset increase on debit, right? Liability on service revenue increase on credit, right? Transaction 4, what's that? Cash decrease on credit, okay? Expenses, rent expenses increase on debit. Okay? Transaction 5, what happened? Cash decrease credit. Prepaid insurance, your asset increase on debit. Transaction 6, asset supplies increase on debit. Liability accounts payable increase on credit side, right? Transaction is not a transaction. Transaction 7 is not a transaction, so you don't need to do anything. Transaction 8, what happened? Cash decrease on credit side. Dividend increase on debit side. Transaction 9, cash decrease on credit side. Expenses increase on debit side. So did you find out? You just repeat, figure out. You put the number on left, on right, on left, on right. That's it. Because we use the rule to write down the transactions. Okay? Last one. Cash increase on your debit side, left. Revenue increase on your credit side, right. Okay, any questions? So what we are going to do is, based on the numbers, we have to decide, we put it on your left or on your right. Okay? Any questions? Okay, then before we let you practice, we have also one specific, not specific term. We have one new terms. Want you understand, let you know. So it's on your slide, page 19. Slide, page 19. Another new terms you have to understand is what? Ending balance is not what we are going to talk. Ending balance is 期末余额 is what? Your final amount on your last date. Ending means your last date, okay? So ending means your last date. So on your last day, you will find out the balance means final amount. Okay, so what does it mean? December 31st is my last day of the whole year. I find out the final number, how much, okay? So for example, I told you the ending balance is $10. So what does it mean? I have $10 on my last day of this month or this year or this quarter. So it means $10 on December 31st or $10 on last day of January. Should be January 31st or maybe February 28th or maybe March 30. Okay, so that's ending balance. So when we do all the numbers, we find out the ending balance. So we want to let you know left side or right side, debit or credit. You should find out the ending balance on debit or credit on left or right. That will be normal. Okay, so we use it to do what? Double check. You know, numbers. You should be very careful, especially the numbers is what? Money. $1, $2, $3. For everyone, we care about the money, right? So you should be very careful after you do the math. Are you sure the number $10 is correct or not? So we have to double check whether the number is correct or not. Then we should find out whether the balance on your debit or credit is normal. It's normal means it's correct. Okay, so you should know your normal balance on debit or credit. 正常余额 means what? You want to find out your final amount. Balance is final amount, right? So you want to find out final amount is normal. So what does it mean is normal? It's correct. It's right. Right means it's correct. So after you do the math, are you sure your number is correct or not? Okay, so we have to double check. For accounting, we always have to double check every number. Why is that? Because the number is dollars. $1, $2, $3. So always we have to double check whether the number is correct or not. So we want to double check your final amount is normal, correct, right, or not. Okay? So that's why we have to make sure your balance is normal balance. Your balance is normal, correct. Okay? Then how to do that? Are you finished yet? How to do that? You have to figure out it's on your debit side or credit side, on your left or right. So, for example, I use one case. I have a case. So this is case 1, case 2. Which one is normal? Which one is not? Which one is correct? Which one is not correct? Okay? So cash is your asset, right? Asset increase on debit or credit. Debit, right? So that's why asset increase on debit. Asset increase on debit. Asset decrease on credit. Okay? So I have $10 on debit increase. What does that mean? You have a $10 increase. So means your cash increased $10. Okay? Why your cash increased $10? Because you got the cash from someone else, right? So that's why your cash increased. So you got the cash. Also, I got the cash Have you spent your money? Sure, right? You will use your money to buy food, buy anything, to pay taxi fee, right? So that means your cash decrease. So cash decrease because you pay the cash to do something, right? So that's why your cash decrease. $5 because you pay the cash. Okay? So what happened? I got the cash $10. But because of some reason, I paid the cash $5. So could you tell me, after these two things happened, final amount, what's your balance? How much money you still have? $5, right? I got $10, I paid $5. So in the end, I still have $5, right? Okay, so what's your balance? Ending balance should be $5, right? Okay, so I got $10, but I paid $5. So in the end, final amount should be $5 I still have, right? Cash. Okay, so what does it mean? Final amount means your balance, right? So I have the ending balance. I have the balance ending balance期末余额 is $5, right? Okay. So could you tell me, for the ending balance $5, we should put it on debit or credit side? For this $5, you should put it on debit or credit. That will make it normal. Debit or credit. In other words, you should find out that $5 on your left or right. Ask her. Okay, rain. Rain, right? 雨欣 Huh? Rain is 学新语 Could you tell me, ending balance $5, we should put it on debit or credit side? Debit, right? Why is that? You should put it on debit or credit. You should put it on debit. Why is that? Because debit side means what? Debit side for cash means increase. So means what? I still have cash $5. Okay? So I put it on debit side here. Is correct, is normal. Why is that? You know, $5 on debit. Cash increase on debit. So means what? I have a positive $5. So this means I have increased positive $5. So means what? You still have cash $5. Okay? If we use another case, cash increased $10. You pay the cash $12. So you find out $2 on your credit, your right side. So this 2 means what? On your right means what? Negative, right? So what does it mean? Could you tell me? If you find out the number on your credit side means what? You have negative $2. So what does it mean, negative $2? Is your final number. So could you tell me, do you ever have negative $2? Yes, Ian. Hurricane, right? Hercules, sorry. You have cash, negative $2. Hercules, have you ever have cash negative $2? Impossible. Why is that? I don't have the cash, zero. I have a cash $1, $2, $3. Could you tell me, is it possible to have a cash negative $2? Impossible. Okay? So cash on debit side, we can expand the meaning. So ending balance on debit side increase means what? I have cash $5. But when you have cash negative $2, could you explain it? What does that mean? Impossible. So these two, which one is weird, is abnormal? This one, right? How could I have cash negative 2? Okay? So for this case, is abnormal. What does it mean? Means it impossible happen. I have a cash negative $2, right? Okay? Abnormal means is impossible. So you should be careful. After you find out balance, after you find out final amount, you should double check it. Double check whether the final amount appear on your correct side. Okay? So cash on debit side is normal, is correct. So we call it normal balance. Normal balance means what? 正常余额 means what? Means is correct side. Okay? So this is correct side. Your ending balance for cash should be on debit side. If you find out ending balance, final amount on credit, double check it again. You should recompute your numbers because pretty sure you did wrong, okay? So that's how we do a double check. So abnormal means your final amount appear incorrect side. So this is means incorrect side. So remember, after you got the numbers, you should explain what does that mean. So $5 means what? I have the cash $5. Okay? $2 on negative. What does that mean? I have negative cash. Negative $2 cash. Impossible. So it means you did something wrong. Please double check it. Recompute your numbers again. Okay? So let's look at another case. How about liabilities? Page 21. Let's look at liabilities. Accounts payable means what? You owe someone money, but you give them oral promise, right? I promise you I'm going to pay you money back, but I didn't write down anything, right? I just give you the oral promise. So liability increase. I have liability on debit or credit? Credit, okay? Liability increase on credit side. Liability decrease on debit side, okay? So for this case, your liability decrease. What does it mean? Accounts payable decrease means what? You pay the money back, right? So that will make your liability decrease. So liability decrease means you pay the cash, okay, which made your liability decrease. Okay, so my liability decreased $10 because I paid the cash, which made my liability decrease. Your liability increased $5. What does that mean? Liability increase. Okay, accounts payable increase. Why your liability increase? You buy something but didn't pay the money, right? I buy the food, I buy the drink, but I didn't pay the money. So I owe someone money, right? Which made your liability increase. So I bought maybe drinks but didn't pay the money. Okay? I buy something but I didn't pay the money, so I owe someone money, which made my liability increase, right? Okay. Any questions? Based on this, could you explain the meaning right here? Second case. I have the liability, $12. So my liability increased $12. At the same time, my liability decreased $10. Okay? Based on case 1 and case 2. Case 1, you find out the ending balance $5 on debit side, left side. Case 2, you find out $2 on your credit side, your right side. These two cases, which one is normal, correct? Which one is not? You are, what's your name? Sorry? Trisha. Case 1, case 2, which one is correct, is normal? Case 1 or case 2? Case 2, why? Why? Because, did you find out? You have the liability $5, means what? I owe the money $5. But why you pay the $10? So may you have a $5 ending balance, final amount on debit or credit? Debit. Debit means decrease, right? So what does it mean? I have the liability negative $5. Could you explain the meaning? This means what? You have a negative $5 accounts payable liability. Okay? Could you explain? I have the liability negative 5. Impossible, right? I don't have the liability 0. I have the liability $1, $2, $3, right? I don't owe their money, so my liability 0. I owe their money $1, $2, $3. What does that mean? I owe their money negative 5. Cannot explain the meanings. So how about this one? Case 2, it looked like normal, right? I owe their money $12. I pay the money back $10. So what does that mean? I still owe their money $2. Okay? So $2 on positive increase, that means what? Means you still have liability $2. Okay? So this 2 means what? Positive $2. means what? You still have liability $2. Okay? So based on case 1, case 2, I cannot explain case 1. Liability 0 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Impossible. I have negative liability. Okay? So based on these two, which one is normal? Case 2, right? So case 2, positive $2 means I still have $2 liability. I still owe the money $2. So this one is normal case. Okay? So you should find out liability for your final amount appear on your credit side. Okay? So for liability, which one is normal balance? Okay? So normal balance means it's correct. So I should find out liability. For liability, your ending balance, final amount, should be on your credit side. Credit side means you're right. Okay? So when you find out credit balance, final amount on your credit, then you think, okay, this is normal. Then maybe I did something correct. Someday, if you find out the number for your liability on debit side is abnormal, then what should you do? Double check, recompute your number again. Okay? So this is abnormal. Abnormal means final amount on wrong side. So what should you do? Recompute your number again. Okay, because you did something wrong, so recompute again. Any questions? Based on cash, based on accounts payable, did you find out the rules? Normal balance should be on which side? Let's take a look again. This is the cash. So cash, normal balance on debit. Okay? For liability, normal balance on credit. So what's the rule? Final amount should be on. Final amount should be on. Take a look again. This is the cash. Okay? And this is a liability. So final amount should be on which side will be normal correct. Increase per side. Did you find out? Cash, normal balance on increase side. Then we can explain the meanings. Liabilities, final amount on increase side. Then we can explain the meanings. Okay? So what's the rule? Increase per side. We can explain the meanings. Okay? So this is for your equities. Share capital. Do you still remember what does it mean, share capital? 股本 Share capital group means investors invested in your company, right? They put the money in your company. They become your shareholders, your boss, right? So share capital increase on your credit. Share capital decrease on your debit. Okay? So what does it mean? Increase. Share capital increase means what? Means shareholders' right in the company increase. Okay? Why their right in the company increase? Because they put more money in your company. So of course their right increase, right? So their right increase means what? Means then invested in your company. Okay? They put their money in your company, so of course their right increase. So what does it mean? Share capital decrease. They don't want to become your shareholders. They take their money away. So have you heard about, sometimes you heard about the news, someone buy the shares, 买股票. Someone sell the shares, 卖股票. So I buy the shares means what? You buy the shares means you put the money in the company, you become shareholders. Could you sell the shares? Of course. Sell the shares means you don't want to become the shareholders. So buy shares, 买股票. Okay? I can buy the shares. I invest in the company. Also, I could sell the shares. Okay? Take the money away. I don't want to become the shareholders. So you could sell the shares. So means shareholders' right decrease. Why their right decrease? Means then take the money back. Okay? They don't want to become your shareholder, so not yours. Not your shareholders anymore. Not your boss anymore. Okay? So we mean they sell the shares. Sold shares. 出售股票. Okay? So every time when you find out increase, decrease, you should understand what they did. Okay? What does that mean? So based on case 1, case 2, could you tell me? I find out final number on debit side. I find out final number on credit side. Which one is correct, normal? Christine, could you tell me? Case 1, case 2, which one is normal, is correct? We can explain the meaning. Case 1. Case 2, okay. But you know what's my next question? Why? So why is case 2? I can tell you the answer, case 2, but why? Why is case 2? Dora. Why is case 2? Okay. Oh, Julian. Julian? Why is case 2? You mean case 1? So case 1 means negative $5, right? So shareholders, is it possible shareholders have negative $5 investment? Impossible. I don't want to become your shareholders. So what is my investment? How much money I put in your company? 0. If I want to become your shareholders, I will put $1, $2, $3, right, in your company. So my investment is positive 1, 2, 3, right? So what does that mean? Negative $5. Impossible. How to explain that? So $5 means what? You know? Share capital, $5 on debit side means negative. So means negative $5 investment. How is that possible? Impossible. I don't have investment, so my investment is 0. I have an investment, so my investment is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So impossible, final amount, negative, okay? So this one is abnormal because impossible. Okay? Abnormal. So what should you do? Double check it, recompute your number. You did something wrong, okay? We use this way to double check your numbers. So recompute your number. How about case 2? You know, it makes sense, right? At the beginning, I put, now you're a shareholder. At the beginning, your shareholders put $12 in your company, invest $12. Later, they take $10 back, right? So in the end, still have a $2. What's that? They still invested in your company $2. So they still have $2 in your company, okay? So that's how we explain the meaning. So this means what? Means positive $2. So means shareholders still have $2 investments. In your company. Okay? Any questions? So this $2 on credit side is normal. Normal means what? Correct side. Okay? So means the final number on credit side. So this means final amount on credit side. Okay, credit side. So means is normal. Any questions? So how about, let you guess, if you understand the rules for revenue, anyone could tell me for revenues, final amount should be on debit or credit? Okay, debit, why is that? Because revenue increase on debit or credit? Revenue increase on Hank. No. Revenue normal balance on debit or credit? On credit. Why is that? Increase on credit side. Okay. How about expenses? Normal balance should be on debit. Dividends, normal balance should be on debit. Okay. So did you find out? Go back your slide, page 17. Then, for your cash, you should have the balance on debit side is normal. For liabilities, you should have the balance on credit side. They will be normal. Okay? For your equity, final amount, ending balance should be on credit side. They will be normal. For your revenues, final amount should be on credit side. They will be normal. Okay? Expenses, final amount should be on debit side. Dividends, final amount should be on debit side. Okay? If someday you find out the final amount on the other side, what should you do? Recompute your numbers because you did something wrong. Okay? So if you find out the numbers right here, if someday you find out the numbers here, then you should recompute again because you did something wrong. Okay? The same for others. So if final amount on negative side, you should recompute again because you did something wrong. So on for others. Okay? So that's it. That's the basic rules we have. So far, how many contents we cover? First is debit, credit. So you should understand when we talk about assets, increase on debit, decrease on credit. Liabilities, increase on credit, decrease on debit. So first thing we talk is debit, credit. So you should remember what's the debit, what's the credit, okay? So far we've covered few concepts. Also, that's quite important. First is what? Debit, credit. Okay? So you should understand we put the number on debit or credit. Second thing we've mentioned is what? Final amount on debit side, we call it debit balance, credit balance. Okay, so we've mentioned debit balance, credit balance last week. Okay, debit balance, credit balance means your final amount on debit or credit. Today, we mentioned the third new term is what? Normal balance, 正常余额. So you should understand what does it mean, normal balance, 正常余额. Okay? So that's the contents we have so far. Debit, credit. What does it mean, debit balance? What does it mean, credit balance? The third is, what does it mean, normal balance? We use normal balance to do what? To double check. Okay, so we use it to double check your amount, your final amount. Okay? Any questions? Based on this, later we will let you practice how to write down the transactions, okay, using accounting way. So take a break. Any questions, please come to ask me.